I'm 24 male, the youngest of my parents' three kids. My older sisters are Sarah, 28, and Liv, 26. Sarah and Liv were BFFs growing up, always together, shared everything. The whole TV trope of close sisters. That was my sisters. The other part that was very TV-like was their anti-boy rhetoric, and specifically, anti-brother. They never liked me being near them, and they'd always say that I was embarrassing to them, that I was gross, which I wasn't dirty or anything. They wanted sisters and not brothers, that boys weren't allowed to play whatever games they were playing. It hurt my feelings as a kid, and they were punished for being cruel on occasions. Not all the time, but it happened a few times, and I know our parents got concerned enough to try therapy, both individual for all of us and family therapy together. It was in family therapy when my sisters loudly proclaimed that they would never love me or want a brother. They said boys are disgusting and nobody wants them, and they wanted someone to come and take me away forever, so they never had to see me again. My parents put a lot of focus into giving me outside focus too, so the stuff with my sisters wouldn't destroy me. It wasn't always perfect. I did wish at a younger age that my sisters would care, but I had friends, hobbies, activities, and stuff to do to keep me distracted, and my parents kept working on my sister's treatment of me because it went beyond just not being close. Their attitude toward me did not change. I was very much in a not family camp when Sarah got married, and when Sarah and then Liv started having babies, I was not included or invited to anything, even to meet their kids when they were born. I was not sent any announcements. My parents and other family got those, but I'm not even in their social media or friend followers. They both have accounts set to permissions, need to follow. I'm truly over it and over them by now. I know nothing will change, and honestly, I don't want to screw the whole don't hold kids' actions against them because they've not been kids for years. Now they have some kids that are a bit older, and both sisters want to work. They tried to share a nanny and babysitter, but I guess they got tired of paying for both on different occasions, so they approached me to be a babysitter. They told me I should help take care of the kids, since I'm supposed to be family, or whatever. I asked if they were serious, and then I rolled my eyes hard at them. They said I had a crappy attitude. I told them they could take care of their own kids, and they wouldn't be using me after 24 years of wanting my existence to go away. They accused me of being as bad as them for responding in the way that I did. Am I the idiot? Karma came so fast, LOL. Not the idiot. They told you they didn't want you in their family and went out of their way to exclude you, even as adults. You owe them nothing. They're basically strangers to you who happen to be related to your family. And accusing you of being as bad as them is absurd. They got their wish, no brother. They should deal with it. They treated OP like he was Cinderfella. My main concern is if they have any sons, seeing as they hate boys and all that. Though obviously they don't hate boys enough not to have procreated. But seriously, I hope they're decent to their kids, as they have no track record of decency. Yeah, I wondered how they reconciled their boys are gross attitude with their husbands. They don't hate boys. They were just bashing OP. They made their choice from the start, even after the parents tried to help. They literally excluded him from family gatherings, weddings, etc. OP has never been treated as a family by them, and absolutely should not act like family now. The audacity of these women. They're happy to disown you and pretend you never existed, just because they felt like it, until they needed something from you. Do not give in to them, and set boundaries with your parents if they get involved, and start asking to keep the peace because family. I want to poke my eyes out every time I see a story end with that. I, 51 male, have a daughter, 19 female, who's been living away from home for college. Since she was a teenager, I've always tried to give her the best, paying for everything, giving her a $3,000 allowance monthly, and even buying her a car when she moved for school. I believe I've set her up for success. Recently, though, we've been butting heads. She's been going out partying a lot, skipping classes and spending her money on expensive trips with her friends. When I brought up my concerns, she completely brushed me off, telling me it's her life and she's an adult now. Last weekend, I learned from her mother, we're divorced, that she plans to drop out of college for a year to find herself and travel around Europe with her friends. I called her immediately and told her if she dropped out, I'd cut off her allowance and take the car back. She lost it, saying I'm trying to control her life and I can't take away the things I've already given her. She also claims I'm punishing her for wanting to live her life. I feel like I'm being reasonable here. She can make her choices, but I shouldn't have to fund them if I disagree. Still, she's my daughter, and I don't want to ruin our relationship over this. Am I the idiot for threatening to cut her off if she drops out? The classic I'm an adult, but I still want daddy's money dilemma. Look, if she's grown enough to find herself in Europe, she might also want to find herself a job to fund it. I mean, dropping $3,000 a month while skipping classes and booking flights sounds less like adulting and more like living in a reality show where the plot twist is always, who's paying for this again? You're not punishing her. You're simply removing the platinum parachute from her midlife crisis, which at 19 feels a bit premature. If she wants to live her best eat, pray, love life, she can eat ramen, pray she finds Wi-Fi at hostels, and love the sweet, sweet reality of budgeting. Not the idiot, just a dad suggesting that being an adult sometimes involves footing your own bill. Heck, $3,000 allowance? You didn't set her up for success. You set her up for failure. $3,000 a month is a lot. For context, after taxes and benefits, I bring home a bit over $3,000 a month, and I support a family of 4 with that. Mortgage, car, utilities. You are the idiot for creating a spoiled brat and being so out of touch. My father paid for my degree too. No allowance. I gave birth to 2 children while getting the degree, had grants that paid for childcare and the occasional school expense. People confused helping with enabling. I remember when my allowance was $50 every 3 months. Good times. OP, if you didn't give her so much money, she wouldn't be able to party so much. What did you think she was going to do with it? You are the idiot for allowing such behavior. I'm pretty sure she showed signs of entitlement when she was younger, and it was easier to correct. But you probably let it slide or brushed it off. She needs to understand that actions have consequences. Cutting off her allowance is a great start, and $3,000 a month is wild. My 19th female parents got divorced 2 years ago or so. It was an amicable process, and they still have a good relationship. My dad, 46, currently has a girlfriend, but has told me he doesn't plan to get married again in the near future. At first, my mom, 44, wasn't interested in dating after the divorce. She just focused on her work and volunteering. Nevertheless, while doing volunteer work, she connected with Cyrus, 47 male, and they started dating earlier this year. He's a pastor at a church nearby. Our family has never been too religious, so they had met in the past but were never close, until now. Cyrus seems like a perfectly good person, and my mom is delighted by him. Last week, my mom wanted to talk to me alone about something serious. We went to have breakfast outside, and she explained the situation to me. She told me her relationship with Cyrus was serious, and they wanted to move in together. The issue, of course, is that Cyrus couldn't do that without them getting married. She said that after seriously thinking about it, she agreed to marry him so that they could fully be together. I was stunned. She acknowledged that it was a little wild, but was really convinced that it was the right choice. I expressed my total opposition to the idea and demanded they wait at least a year before getting married. Otherwise, I would take no part in it. My mom said I was being unreasonable, but she'd give me some time to think about it more. I've talked with my friends about this, and some agree with me, but others say that I shouldn't get in the way of my mom's happiness. Am I the idiot? You demanded a timeline of a relationship that you're not a part of? You are the idiot. You can express your worries and concerns, but you don't get to control someone else's life just because you think you're right. She's a grown woman. Yes, she's a grown woman. That doesn't mean her decisions are good ones. Not the idiot. You're not ready, be happy she is, and don't go. Those aren't mutually exclusive. You can support her with love and kindness and include Cyrus in your life in some way, but it's totally fine to say, I'm not ready, He's not my stepdad. I don't want to be at a wedding. It's all too soon. If you think your mom's making a mistake, that's a different story. But if it's just a comfort thing, you're as entitled to your feelings as she is to hers. Do you have the right to demand that someone make good decisions according to your standards? Of course you are the idiot. You don't get to demand she wait. You don't get to have a say how long or short your mother's engagement should be. She's an adult. This is her decision, especially given that you're no longer a dependent child, but a legal adult yourself. You don't have to be thrilled about it. You're even free to think she's making a mistake. But demanding she wait for some arbitrary period of time is ridiculous. You owe her an apology. I, 63 male, lost my first wife, Annie, to cancer 28 years ago when our daughters, Kendra and June, were pretween. We had done pretty well for ourselves, so when Annie was terminal, we put all our assets into a trust that I managed. With my guidance, it's done even better. It generates about $45,000 in income every year. I got remarried when Kendra and June were young teens. Since June finished undergrad, my wife Miranda and I have kept that $45,000 income from the trust. I've built up quite a legacy for when I pass. My wife and my daughters will be splitting the profits of 5 houses, Annie's trust, the trust I made at the same time, and my investments. Kendra and June would be pretty comfortable. June was dog sitting for us in July because she's a teacher and we need to schedule our vacations around her. She called me up, demanding I explain why she and Kendra hadn't been given an income from the trust. She claimed she was looking for Annie's old writing, which does sound like something she would do. I don't think she was snooping to snoop. She's always been a sweet kid. I told her the trust would be split between her and Kendra when I die, but I want her to keep giving Miranda the $45,000 a year. She asked what my wife had to do with that money. I told her it was my prerogative to determine how my money would be distributed. June argued that it wasn't my money, but Annie's money, and her stepmother had nothing to do with it. She complained that Miranda has a job in luxury sales, and I have my pension and investments, but both she and Kendra are on food stamps. I admit that they are. Kendra because she's bad with money, June because she has medical problems. I told June that she would be set for life when I passed away, but she said I was acting like a greedy idiot. She says she and her sister should split the income from their mother's trust now. I told her that it wouldn't be anywhere near as much to split if I hadn't managed it so well. She started sobbing about how that $22,000 a year would change her life and let her get medical care while I was just sitting on it. I can admit that June has never been selfish or money motivated. She works hard and does a lot for her family, or she used to, but I really don't understand why she feels so entitled to get this money that wouldn't even be here without me while I'm still here. Annie's will and trust leave me in charge of everything until I pass. I used it to pay for Kendra and June's college, so they only had to use their part-time jobs to buy books and school supplies. Frankly, I think June is being a bit of an idiot herself. OP, you really need to consult a lawyer, a good one. A trust is not a piggy bank for the trustee to spend however he or she likes. What does the trust say the money is to be used for? Trusts are established with specific beneficiaries in mind. I cannot in a million years imagine your late wife establishing a trust for you to support your current wife. If your daughters lawyer up and ask for an accounting in court, you might be in for a very rude and very costly awakening. Either way, you're sort of an idiot for supporting your current wife with money that was intended for your daughters. You are the idiot, a big one. But he's the one who took a large sum of money and made it bigger. I'm pretty sure his late wife would love to know he's more worried about himself and his current wife living nicely than her daughters, whom he apparently doesn't really give a crap about. Isn't that what trusts are for anyway? Luckily for him, he has all the money, and they haven't gotten a lawyer to look into it yet. And one daughter has medical issues? What the heck, dude? I hope your departed wife haunts you. I find it hard to believe that a dying woman wouldn't include her minor children as beneficiaries of the trust. I remember when I was writing my will, my therapist warned me about exactly this. She said if women don't fence off their assets for their children, it often goes to the second families instead. Your wife's intention was very likely to provide a legacy for her daughters, not you. They lost their mom when they were pre-tween, for heaven's sake. She tried to do what she could do to set them up for the best life possible without her, and you betrayed her wishes and her memory. I have never had an accident or a traffic ticket in the 15 years I've had a license. My wife has totaled 2 cars, been in several fender benders, and has come close to losing her license on demerits. Despite this, she is constantly nagging me whenever we're driving somewhere and I'm behind the wheel about my speed, other cars, upcoming traffic lights, basically everything. I've refused to drive anywhere with her for the last 2 months unless she's driving. I don't say anything about her driving. I don't warn her about stop signs or mention that she should brake when she's going to rear end someone. I just let her drive. She has a Volvo. I'll survive. She's been complaining that she hates being in charge of driving when we go out. She doesn't like to drive after having wine with dinner or a beer with friends, even an hour after they drink. She hates that I can nap on the way home from visiting family that lives a few hours away. I told her I'd go back to driving, but would stop if I heard any criticism from her. She thinks that isn't fair. She says I'm punishing her for being fretful when she isn't in control. I pointed out our driving records and said that she should be more afraid when she's driving than when I am. She thinks I'm behaving like an idiot. Am I? Everyone's the idiot here. She shouldn't backseat drive you, but she also shouldn't be driving. One of these days she's going to injure or kill someone seriously. You might be fine in your Volvo, but a pedestrian or a child on a bicycle wouldn't be fine when she hits them, and it's irresponsible of both of you. Kind of disagree with part of this. If OP thinks she's a bad driver, then letting her drive him is stupid. But I don't like the idea that OP is responsible for another adult being a bad driver. Evaluating whether someone's okay to drive is the job of the licensing authorities, not OP. If she has her license, then legally she has the right to drive, and it's not OP's place to take that away from her. Also, if she's an adult, she should be held responsible for driving. Making OP in charge gives unhealthy relationship vibes. I think Dude knows she's a danger to everyone around her and is staying quiet, waiting for the day she hits someone so he can say, "I told you so." We've over-normalized dangerous behavior behind the wheel. It's so often to see driving records like hers when someone has a serious crash. He's not responsible for her as a driver exactly, but he wants her to drive after drinking and only mentions his own safety as a factor in a potential crash. So he's an idiot.